and it's nighttime, mind you, so I'm scared. And we got outside and he started running. Oh, yeah, it's here, bad child. He's up on the roof. And I started running. And he throws the milk to me, and I'm little. Throws the gallon of milk to me and takes off running. So I'm screaming. I drop the milk.
Of
the
course.
Milk bust.
Mm-hmm.
I got my butt towed up. And I really thought I was gonna die from bad child. Like, I mean, I was young. I was like 9, and I was a very scary person.
Yeah.
So those whoopings, of course, turned into investigations.
Oh, because they took you in.
And yeah, so it turned into child abuse. Mm-hmm. And
thinking back though, do you actually think they were abusing you?
I don't know. Well, I mean, no. I just think that they were
chastising the way they know how.
The way they knew how.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They were
because honestly, when I think about, all right, you were more scary though, so a lot of that stuff, yeah. But whenever I got a whooping, I was actually being bad. Like,
yeah. See, and that's the thing. I feel like there was a lot of things that I was getting whoopings for that we used to get just whooped for. I mean, one person do something and we don't know. They don't know everybody. Everybody stand in line, put your hands out, and they take the comb, whack, whack. Hit you in the hands. Or my grandmother used to take me in the bathroom and she had a little wooden handle spoon, pull my pants down, and I think that's what it was.
I've been through a lot. But only one thing ever really sticks to me. No matter what I go through, it always affects me. When I hustle up or don't have a dime, I'ma go mine. Good times and the bad times, they heavy on my mind. Tapered up or I'm starched down. Either way is mine. I feel fine, but everything around affect my
Welcome to a
mind.
Big Mind Podcast. I am your host, King Dope, aka the king of all things dope, Sid. And the purpose of this podcast is to enrich the lives of our viewers and listeners spiritually, mentally, and fiscally, if we can. Today's a treat, simply because this is somebody who I actually saw them in a successful state. And they literally figured out how to keep that success going in one way or another. She's not even a native of the city, but became a part of the city.
Thank you.
And that is a feat. Because down here, they love you or they hate you. And you found a way to find the love. So I would like to welcome to the show and introduce Ms. Nina Rawz.
What's going on? How you doing?
Hey, I'm living. How about you?
I'm living too. You touched me. You touched me with that. Thank you.
Hey, I mean, it's real. Like, what you did made such a big deal that your name is still ringing bells. You can still be mentioned.
It's funny though, because like I've been out of the loop for so long. Mm-hmm. I personally don't believe it. Mm-hmm. But when you say it, and then sometimes I'll have these little reminders, like I'll be in like the Dollar Tree or something. Mm-hmm. And I'll start talking. That's when it happens, when I open my mouth and I start talking. And they're like, you remember the Nina Rawz? Nina Rawz in the building. Yep. And I'm like, okay, hold on. I'm just me. But it's been a humbling, life-changing learning experience.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
So, as you know, in the little clips that you may have seen, if you saw the beginning of any interview, I always start with a game.
Go ahead. I'm ready. I'm already nervous because I'm not the one who gets interviewed. First of all, I don't need fam. But because I love you so much, go ahead with your game.
All right. This game is called Dumb Questions for Smart People.
All right.
So, this is my list of dumb questions.
Do I have to answer them?
Oh, yeah. Definitely have to answer them. All right. We'll start with an easy one. What's your favorite 90s jam?
Oh, man. I get so weak in the knees. I can
Really?
hardly
Weak.
speak.
SWV.
That was the first one that came to mind.
So listen, I was literally thinking about doing a short video on the 5 songs that make church people forget they in church. And that's literally on the list of songs.
Yeah.
Because I've heard musicians play that in the background and see to the left and to the right, and people are low key singing the song,
moving in their seat. And then they got to catch themselves.
Yes, I believe that's why Kanye had to flip it, because he knew it. He knew that's one of those songs.
Yeah,
and I like the way they flipped it. It really turned out great.
Yeah. Next question.
That one was too easy. When have you failed big, and what did you learn from this experience?
Man, come on. Man, shoot. Well, let's take it to 2016, and when I left 93 BLX, I had to learn to shut my mouth. Believe it or not, for me to be getting paid to open my mouth and speak, I had to learn to shut my mouth. Of course, you know, I'm from New York. Yeah, I'm a little bit more forthcoming with my thoughts and how I speak, and sometimes I could be a little abrasive. I said something on Facebook to the extent of Inetta. You remember Inetta, the movesetter? Yeah. And what was she known for? Getting on air and going off. Yeah. And man, I'm telling you, like the relationship that I had working up there was just like, it was bittersweet, and it would drag me down mentally and emotionally and financially to the point where I'd say some crazy things. And I remember I got on Facebook one day and I was like, I can understand why Inetta got on the mic and said what she said, or I said something to the nature like, they don't realize that they're getting ready to turn me into another Inetta the mood setter. Oh. Yeah. But I wasn't gonna do it. Yeah, but they feel like you know too many secrets. So I tell you, I promise you, like the next morning, 9:00 in the morning, I got a phone call, and it was a conference call. So it was like somebody else was on the line, and I already knew what it was. I already knew what time it was. You know when they got to bring somebody else in the room. Yeah,
it's for verification, and so that's for reprimandment.
And they were like, unfortunately, we got to let you go because we kind of see you as a risk. And we see you as a risk, and we can't take those chances. Like, if you read the comments, you would see that I actually even said it in the comments, because Inetta got on the comments and was like, don't do it. Then, of course, you got your people that are like, yo, do that shit, do that. And I'm like, I ain't gonna do it, though. I'm just expressing how I feel. I understand where she came, how she felt, and where she was coming from at that time, being overworked and overlooked and underpaid. It was a nightmare, you know. So that's where I was coming from. I felt like I understood where she was coming from. Yeah, they fired my ass.
That's crazy. So the key lesson for that is watch your mouth.
Watch your mouth.
It might write a chick that you can't catch.
Yes, think before you speak.
All right, so I got one last question. Are you into superheroes? Do you watch?
No.
You've never read comic books? You ever watched a Marvel movie, DC movie?
I mean, I have, but I didn't pay attention. It's like one of those things, you know. I mean, come on. I wouldn't say I'm a girl, because I'm sure there are girls that watch it.
Especially now, because being the nerd is in.
Well, I mean, I don't want to be in.
Oh, understood.
But no, I don't know. So yeah, you might want to pick another question.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to be able to answer that.
Can I ask her the infamous question?
What's the infamous question?
The infamous question is, who would win in a fight between Iron Man and Batman? That is the question I ask every single guest. But
I like Iron Man.
See, but you just like him.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I don't even know. I don't know the background stories on them both. My favorite person is Thor.
Of course, I know why you love Thor. It's Chris Hemsworth. Every woman loves Thor. My mom talks about how sexy Thor is. I'm like, He's white, Mom.
It don't matter.
It don't matter at all. It don't matter at all because it's fine women of all colors, and my wife will punch me in the face if I look too long. But
think before you speak.
Definitely think before you look. Hey, I'm trying to give
just
you a
don't
warning.
even look.
Just don't look, or if it passed by, just keep straight look.
Play dead.
That's it. All right. So I came up with a backup question.
All right.
Are you ready for this?
Man, come on.
Who would win in a versus between Prince and Michael Jackson?
Oh my God. What kind of question is that?
It's a good one. It's the same caliber. It took me a long time to come up with this too.
Well, no, that's cheating.
It's not.
It's not even on the paper. How do you can't compare the two.
That's right. But that's what makes versus so dope.
I would love to see them in a versus, by the way.
Yes.
Like, I really, damn, man.
And you know, they had one time where they were like literally on stage together and were competing low key. It was at a James Brown concert. You can find it on YouTube.
I'm going to look for that, but honestly, I don't know who would win. I would just want to see them both. I would just go there. And
you got to choose a side.
I would root for both.
You got to choose a side.
Man, come on. Because they bring out two different sides of you.
You want the
Prince
king
brings
of
out the
onesies
nasty.
Or the, yes.
I like
the booty
nasty.
cheek showing. He had the booty showing and the women loved it. He's the only man who can pull that off.
Man.
And Michael Jackson wore a onesie everywhere. And women loved it.
He did wear a
onesie with bullets on it.
He did. Man, I don't know. Why you gotta can we double back to this question at the end?
All right, so the double. I mean,
they both got great hits.
That's true. So I mean, put two against each other. If Michael Jackson played "Remember the Time," what would Prince play?
When Doves Cry.
Doves Cry against "Remember the Time"?
Yeah. I don't.
You know what? I can hear it. I really can't hear it. I can hear the chords.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. The music-wise.
Yes, music-wise, it does make sense. But when you think just out the top of your head, it doesn't. But it does go. So,
well,
I'll
Michael Jackson. Because I could actually name more songs off the top of my head with Michael Jackson.
When I'm DJing, I had that same problem with Prince. Prince has so many
records. He has a lot of records.
That I only can really think of about 5 from the top. Like, I always think of When Doves Cry, Purple Rain, Kiss, 1999, Little Red Corvette.
Yeah.
But beyond that,
there's so many albums that he has. Like, there's this one song, I forgot what album it was, but the hook was just like boom, 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 boom. That's all the damn hook was. And I remember being in the damn just sweeping and shit, boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, what am I listening to? But this is rocking right now.
You know who makes me feel like that? Bruno Mars.
Yeah.
It really, at this point, it doesn't matter what he makes. It's just, and he got me like that. I've always been a Bruno fan, but I've not always liked his whole album. You know, but I knew he had that greatness. Like the first time I heard Gorilla and like watched the video for Gorilla, I was like, this is something different. And 24 Karat Magic, that album, top to bottom. First of all, I feel like it was the cheat code because he literally did everybody else's style.
In one album.
He did. Like, it was like, okay, I'm going to do every type of genre I love in one album.
But he's so versatile.
But that's what proved it.
Yeah, he's definitely versatile.
All right, well, I'm glad you chose
Speaking of versatile, what about Drake?
All right, so when it boils down to
how do you feel when this new album that was dropped? Now, see how
I like Sticky. I do like Sticky. I didn't even make it through the whole thing because I really was checking see like how dancey it was, and it's more dancey than I like to listen to.
Okay,
and that's really all it is for me. The new Beyonce record that they claim and compares is not as dancey.
Yeah, but it's out there.
I mean, true.
I mean, Beyonce. Okay, the thing about it is, people expect Beyonce to do things like that.
That's very true.
They don't really expect Drake to. I mean, some people might, but they don't expect Drake to do what he did.
So this is why I didn't see it as a surprise. What's left? Think about the charts. Think about everything he's topped. What's left? He doesn't have a country record yet. He doesn't have a gospel record yet. I'm pretty sure we can find something that might have charted rock, but
you never know though. You never know.
You won't know.
I personally enjoy the album. Like I had that album on repeat for like the last 2 weeks.
See, but haven't you visited those areas where the music plays?
Yeah, and then that's probably a different thing because I grew up in New York.
Yeah.
I grew up all different types of genres of music. My dad was a big house head. He loved house music, soul house, Afro house, and it was like that's me. It brings me back to my childhood.
So did he do a good job then?
I feel like he did an okay job.
Okay. All right. So for somebody stepping into it.
Yeah. There are some good songs on there. Like one of my favorite songs is Massive, and that's the one with the piano. I don't know if you heard that one. It comes right after Sticky.
Okay.
I like Sticky.
Yeah.
Sticky had to grow on me though, because I wasn't searching for that Drake. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people like Sticky because they hear Drake. They hear that Drake in it, besides Jimmy Crooks.
Yeah.
They hear that Drake. And it was like, I wasn't searching for that. So my ear was tuned for the house music and for the diversity.
Did you know it was a house album before it dropped?
No.
Okay, good. Nobody did. I didn't want to feel that far left out.
No,
okay.
I didn't. I love it. I'm sorry.
That's good though. I mean, it's good. I feel like I actually don't have no complaints. I feel the same way about him doing his house album, the same way I felt when I found out Lil Baby and Kirk Franklin had a song together.
See, I'm just today years old when I just found that out. That's how out of the loop I've been.
Really? You don't know about We Win?
No.
We Win got nominated for a bunch of awards.
Is that what they were talking about on the BET Awards?
Yes.
Okay. See.
Yeah. See, We Win is a super smash and it's super Kirk Franklin with Lil Baby rapping on it.
I mean, sometimes you gotta appeal to the masses, and there's certain times. What do they say? You have to put certain people out there to gravitate to a certain crowd. Like
the crazy thing about it though is who executive produced the record.
Who did?
It was LeBron. It was for the Space Jam album.
For real?
It was the best record on the whole album because the album was trash. I'm sorry, LeBron. I know eventually you're gonna see this one day.
I wasn't a fan of Space Jam.
The first one or the second one?
The second one.
I mean, all right, so I understood it. My kids
I did too,
but but they didn't like it as much as we liked the one with Michael Jordan. Yeah. But I mean, to LeBron, he tried his best.
He did something.
And his acting wasn't terrible.
No,
it wasn't. How it was kind of set up. I
think so. Yeah,
it felt a bit over the top, but it's a good movie. I think something better came out that weekend too.
He's doing more than what somebody else would do.
I agree.
Nobody else stepped up to make the Space Jam, so
they were scared.
I give him kudos for that.
The only other person who could have possibly did it was COVID. Yeah, that's for real. All right, so we're gonna slide all the way back to the beginning of time, because in the beginning.
All right, Morgan Freeman.
We're gonna let's go back to your humble beginnings. We're gonna take us back to New York. Take us back to what borough you from, who your people are, how did they raise you, what did they name you? We know you as Nina Rawz. That is not your government.
You want to know all of that?
Yes.
Hey man, you got some tissue? Because we about to cry up in here. Yeah, I was born in the Bronx.
Okay.
I was named Nina Santos, Nina Alicia Santos.
Okay.
Named after my great grandmother. Her name was Nina.
Oh, I know a Nina.
Yeah,
believe it or not.
For real?
Yeah.
I don't know any Ninas.
She's older though. She's like in her 60s. But I knew.
That doesn't seem like an older name.
Yeah.
Nina.
It looks like Nina though.
Yeah, it is. It's spelled exactly the same way.
Called?
No. That's you talking about the little squiggle over the end.
Yeah.
That's Nina.
That's
the little
Nina.
squiggle over the end makes the N like a Y sound.
Oh. Well, that ain't her name. Her name is Nina.
Means little girl.
What?
In Spanish, yeah.
I need to learn Spanish.
Me too.
Your last name is Santos and you don't know Spanish.
Man, my peoples, listen, my homeboys, my homegirls, they make fun of me so bad. You the worst Dominican I know. Like, how you Santos, a Dominican, and you don't even know how to speak Spanish. I know a little bit. Yeah. I know just enough. I didn't grow up. My father's Dominican. Mm-hmm. My mother's West Indian from the Virgin Islands and Jamaica. Yes. And then my grandfather's Chinese and Irish and Italian.
How in the Michael Jackson?
Big melting pot. Big melting pot. So this is what it made.
Yes.
And I didn't grow up with my father. So my father, he spoke Spanish in his household. He, his mother did. She didn't speak good English. I love my grandmother, God rest her soul. But it was terrible going over there because I didn't understand. She'd say something and I'm like, yeah. I don't know what she's saying. You want some Cheerio? And I'm like, yeah. And, or no, I don't want Cheerios. And she's talking about cereal. Te quiero Cheerio. And I'm like, oh. And I just say yeah to everything. I say yeah to everything so much. She put a plate full of chicken feet in front of me one day.
She set you up.
I didn't know. Yeah. But no, my cousin actually set me up because she made, my grandmother made, she cooked really good. Like, Puerto Rican and Dominican food. Like, it was like a chicken stew. And I asked my cousin, I was like, what is that stuff that grandma be making? Oh, my mamacita makes, it's chicken feet. So when you ask her for chicken feet. And I was like, you sure? Yeah. And I'm like, I'm gullible. Okay. Mamacita, I want chicken feet. Okay, whatever for me. So she went to this grocery store and bought the stuff, and then she put that chicken feet in front of me, and I'm looking like, what the hell is this? And my cousin, she's sitting at the table laughing and just sucking it because she eats stuff like that. My cousin, she loved blood sausage and all that, just stuff that I didn't eat. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I wasn't really exposed to the culture as much as they were. And she's just gnawing away at the chicken feet, and I was just looking like crying at my bowl, like, I can't eat this. I can't. And
so you never even tried it?
I mean, I had to eat it.
Okay.
Because, she took the time out to make it, and it would have been insulting, and then I would have got my, I would have got...
I know what's coming.
I would have got whooped. So, but that's, reason why I don't speak Spanish is because my dad's side. I didn't really go over there too much.
Wow. So you were mostly raised in the home with your mom?
No, actually I wasn't.
Hold on, you wasn't?
No. This is where the plot twist.
Wow. So I'll tell you what, we're gonna take a quick break and we're gonna come right back into it. What I need you to do is, I need you to go to www.youngandculture.app. I repeat, www.youngandculture.app. And get you one today, man, because if you ain't got it, you left out. And one thing you don't want to be is left out. Just trust me, everybody's about to have this. You talking about plot twist? That was like, what?
Yeah.
Like the brakes. You ever been in the car, not strapped in, and somebody hit the brakes real hard? You hit the back of the seat.
Wait a minute.
That's how that felt. Yeah, my wife still does that to this day. It'd be somebody 3 times her size. She told me, who you gonna hold? Go break your hold.
I got you, fam.
So, how did this dynamic actually work?
All right, so I was actually raised by my grandparents, my mother's mother and father.
Okay.
In the Bronx, Pelham Parkway area, in the projects. But it was one of the best experiences ever in life. Like, I, think back to it, and I always wish, honestly, I wish my mom never took me from them. My mom dealt with a severe drug habit.
Okay.
Even when I was in her womb.
What year was this?
This was, I was born in 1984. And I'm gonna put my government out there and my birth year.
So you were born in 84?
I was born in 84.
Wow.
She was addicted to crack cocaine.
Okay.
And I was born 3 pounds, 4 ounces. I was a little itty bitty thing. Like I was in an incubator. So wow. I was very premature.
So you're a miracle.
I am a miracle, yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I think my mom said something about she had got pushed down a flight of stairs when she was pregnant with me.
What?
Yeah.
That's tough.
It is, but you know, I'm here.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Here and loud, getting in trouble.
Yes. Don't know when to shut my mouth. But yeah, so growing up, you know, my mom was struggling with drug abuse, and so I lived with my grandfather and my grandmother. My grandfather was Asian, my grandmother was West Indian. It was a great dynamic in the house.
And they got along?
And they got along, yeah. He loved her.
That's wild.
Yeah. Her family lived in the Virgin Islands in St. Croix, so every summer I would go and spend the summers in St. Croix.
What? Mm-hmm. Man, yep. I want to visit St. Croix.
Every summer, you know, I'll visit my Auntie Lane, which is her aunt, I think. It's my nanny's, which is, I don't know how it works. I had it all together on Ancestry.com, but
did you print it out?
I got screenshots.
Oh, she black as a mother.
But yeah, so I grew up with my grandfather and my grandmother until I was about 7. And I remember my mom coming back to come get me. By this time, she had moved upstate New York. So I'm in the Bronx. She moved upstate Niagara Falls, which is about 8 hours away. It's like you could spit across the border to Canada.
Wow.
Like that's how close it is. And like I said, I was 7, and she had a little girl. So now I have a sibling. So I was excited because I was like, oh man, I have a sibling, because I was the only child.
Yeah,
for forever.
A long time.
You know what I mean? I was spoiled rotten. I had every Barbie doll you could think of, the Corvette, the Dream House, the Nintendo, anything, all the Disney tapes. Like, I was spoiled.
Wow.
So she, I moved with her, and we moved to Niagara Falls, and I had, like I said, I had a little 7-month-old sister, but she played her game good. She made it seem like she was good and she was sober, and she wasn't. Okay. So my sister and I had to spend multiple weekends in the house alone.
The whole weekend?
Yeah, or sometimes weeks. Wow. In the house alone. So I became the person that I had to step up, and I had to survive. You know, and there were times where, you know, I'm still young. I'm a kid. I'm scared. So like, I didn't want to go downstairs. The lights are out, or not out, like shut off, but they're turned off, and I'm scared to go downstairs. We have roaches, you know, and I turn the lights on, and you just see them, the roaches scatter, you know. And then the next thing is like, now it's like, what are we gonna eat? You know what I mean? I don't know what's in here to eat, and I don't know what to do. And we didn't have cell phones at that time. Of course, you know, this is like,
unless you had a brick, and that cost about $3,000-$4,000.
Yeah,
you ain't got that kind of money.
We didn't have cell phones at the time, so you know, I used to have to try to figure out what we were gonna eat. We'd be hungry, and she was 7 months old, so she was a baby. I didn't know how to take care of a baby. I mean, I've talked to my sister about this before. You know, we've sat there, cried about it, and I remember one time I just put the pillow over her face. I didn't know what to do, you know.
Oh, to stop her from crying?
Yeah, and I just put the pillow over her face, and it was just like, damn, I could have killed my sister. Yeah. You know what I mean? And when my mom was home, she was always angry and irate or irritable. And you know, she was big on organization. Like, I remember she had this sign on my door that said organization. And if things weren't in order, like OCD in order, like, I would get my ass beat. Like, beat. Well, and just to fast forward, like, it got to the point where I was getting my ass beat, and I was having bruises, and it was visible. So, of course, you know, Child Protective Services got involved. Okay. There's been times, like, we would be at school, and I don't do something according to her liking, and she'll knock me over the head with some rain boots, you know, like, in the middle of the street. Yeah. So people saw it, but she wasn't understanding or realizing what she was doing because
she was sick.
She was sick. She was under the influence or either withdrawing.
Yes.
And
that's
knows?
What it sounds like. The irritation and agitation comes from withdrawal syndrome.
Yeah. So, of course, we got pulled out of the home because she ended up going to prison. So she had to spend some time upstate. And we were pulled out of the home, put into foster care. And from there, like her husband at the time, he was actually in prison.
So she was married?
She was married.
Did you know she was married?
Yeah, I knew that she was married.
Okay.
Because the story that she was feeding to my grandparents before she got me was, I'm married, my life has changed. Like, I have a child and this, that, and the third, and I have a husband. And he ended up going to prison. I don't remember what for, to be honest. Like, I was too young. And but he was in prison when she finally came to get me.
Okay.
So she ended up going to prison. Now they're both in prison, but he was getting out soon. So it was kind of like everything reversed. But we were still in foster care.
Okay.
His mother went ahead and pulled us out of foster care because that's her granddaughter, my little sister.
So she didn't just take her; she took you too.
She was like, it's only right that I get her, But I still felt like the redheaded stepchild, in the situation.
You could tell they ain't like you as much.
Yeah, I'm sure they love me, but it wasn't what I was used to. It was a whole different world.
Oh, they didn't know how to love like your original grandparents did.
Yeah, it was a whole different world, And then that's when I was introduced to church, and we were in church Monday through Sunday.
So which kind of church did you?
Church of God in Christ. That's all I know.
Oh, Kojic.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, so it was
heavy on the rules.
It was very strict, very heavy. We were, Sunday school, Sunday service, come back Sunday night, Monday night prayer, Tuesday prayer and Bible band, Wednesday night child service, Thursday night Bible study, Friday night choir practice, choir rehearsal, and then it was it was crazy. But
I can't do it.
I mean, I was exposed.
Praise the Lord.
I mean, it
real talk, but that is religion.
Yeah,
that ain't what Jesus was talking about.
Yeah, it instilled a lot in me. A lot of values. Like I learned a lot, but it definitely pushed me away.
Of course.
And then after a while, of course, being in such a strict household. You
got a little loose.
I wasn't loose yet. I wasn't loose yet. I was only like 9.
Oh, okay. No. Ain't nobody getting loose at 9.
I was only 9. I might have played hide and go get it or something, Yeah. But not that kind of get it.
I was gonna say. I mean, we all played the game, but honestly, I didn't know what we was getting when we was going to play the game. We was just in the dark, just sitting there.
What we getting?
What we supposed to do now? Nothing. Okay. Game over. Cool. What y'all do? We had fun. It ain't nothing happened.
Man, listen.
Because I didn't know. I was an innocent boy for the most part. Yeah. So you going to church all the time.
Yeah, we're going to church. Strict neighborhood. I mean, strict upbringing. Still getting my butt whooped.
Are you still in Niagara Falls?
Yeah, I'm still in Niagara Falls.
Okay.
Got introduced to the switch because his grandmother, his mother, my stepfather's mother, she was old school, and then she's from the South. Her parents were from Columbia, South Carolina.
Oh yeah. You got your butt told.
So we were, I got introduced to the South at that time. And she used to make us go outside, pick our own switch. And don't bring no little one.
Please don't.
She'd make you go right back outside. Yep. I remember and then my stepbrother, which is my father's son, he had a kid. My mom had a kid. So we were almost the same age. But he used to get me in so much trouble. He was so, I love him though. But yeah, he used to get me in so much because I was so scary. I remember one time we went to the grocery store. We had to go to a little corner store and get some milk. And you know how they used to have them tabloids?
Yeah.
Back in the day, the National Enquirer.
Yeah.
And you ever seen the one about Bat Child? You ever seen one? It was Bat Child. It was the child that looks like a bat.
No, I ain't never seen that.
And he's we're at the grocery store with all those food stamps and stuff, and he's getting a gallon of milk and some bread and stuff, and he's reading, and he was like, Nina, they said Bat Child is here in Niagara Falls, on Michigan Avenue, on top of the roof of Wilson Farms, and it's nighttime, mind you, so I'm scared. And we got outside and he started running. Oh, yeah, it's here, Bat Child. He's up on the roof, and I started running. And he throws the milk to me, and I'm little. Throws the gallon of milk to me and takes off running. So I'm screaming. I dropped the milk.
Of
the
course.
milk bust.
Mm-hmm.
I got my butt towed up. And I really thought I was going to die from Bat Child. Like, I mean, I was young. I was like 9.
Yeah.
And I was a very scary person.
Yeah.
So those whoopings, of course, turned into investigations.
Oh, because they took you in.
And yeah, so it turned into child abuse. Mm-hmm. And
thinking back though, do you actually think they were abusing you?
I don't know. Well, I mean, no. I just think that they were
chastising the way they know how.
The way they knew how.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They were
because honestly, when I think about, all right, you were more scary though, so a lot of that stuff, yeah. But whenever I got a whooping, I was actually being bad. Like,
yeah. See, and that's the thing. I feel like there was a lot of things that I was getting whoopings for that. Yeah. We used to get just whooped for. I mean, one person do something and we don't know. They don't know everybody. Everybody stand in line, put your hands out, and they take the comb, whack, whack, hit you in the hands. Or my grandmother used to take me in the bathroom and she had a little wooden handle spoon, pull my pants down, and I think that's what it was. It was swim. We were at swim and they saw the webs on my legs and stuff. But I mean, as a child, I didn't know better. Yeah. You know, I'm gonna cry to somebody who cares. Like, get me out of here. You know, I'm being hurt. Yeah. You know, and I don't even know these people.
So where did that end you up?
My actual biological father came.
What?
Yeah, my biological father came in the picture. He, I mean, we had like a small relationship. He knew me. Yeah. You know, but he was in New York. Mm-hmm. He was in the Bronx. But sometimes he would come up and visit, and still try to maintain a relationship. But when he was hearing about what was going on, he came, and they fought for custody, and they were able to get me. So I ended up moving to New York. He was living in Queens at the time. So I moved there with my stepmother. And
so now you've lived in the Bronx, you've lived in Niagara Falls, and now
three different places in Niagara Falls.
And now you're going to Queens.
Now I'm going to Queens. Yeah, I've jumped around so much. So we're in Queens, and I had my sisters. They were my age. They were twins, and my dad had another baby at the time, Shayna. So there was 4 of us. 5. I don't even know how to count. Natalie, Nicole, Shayna, and me. 4 of us. Yeah. Okay. And then our older brother, Nelson. So, wow. Yeah. And, I mean, that life was cool there. I mean, until my dad and my stepmom broke up. You know, I don't really know too much about what was going on, like as far as the influences. What caused them to react the way they reacted, like having the fights that they did, and the abuse that we would witness as kids. You know, he hit her over the head with a ketchup bottle once. You know, back then it was glass ketchup bottles. You know, it was just it was a lot. But I know that it was a lot of drinking, a lot of partying and stuff like that. My sisters and I used to always escape with music.
Favorite song back then? What was the one that helped you get away?
Probably Escape. Just kick that song. Or Groove Theory. Tell me if you want me to. Yeah, that like those. And my dad was a DJ.
So this had to be 94?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Okay.
Yeah, so my dad was a DJ, and my brother was a DJ. So it was a lot of like music in the house. Yeah. That's where I was exposed to the music, the different types of music.
So they really had like 2 turntables and a mixer in the house.
We had like maybe 3 sets of those in the house.
Stop playing.
Yes.
That's wild.
Yeah. My dad he'd be drinking and he'd be, scratching and stuff like that, and he'd mix some Madonna with some Santana and then go into like some, Wu-Tang to like Onyx. It was
what he was
so
feeling in the moment.
Different like genres. Just the flow is amazing.
Man, that's cool.
So we ended up moving because they broke up.
Yeah.
So now it's me and my dad and his turntables in the basement apartment of somebody's house. This is New York, so the living situation is different. You don't live in a house, you live in a room, or you rent a room or something like that. So we were living somewhere there, and I was so hurt because I was torn away from my sisters. Like now I'm like, I have siblings my age and we get along and, and things like that, but it was crazy. I've talked to my stepmom about it, even as an older person now, and she told me, she was like, I wanted to keep you. I really did.
But of course he didn't want to.
I couldn't keep you because I had to run away from him. I had to hide. And there was no way that I was going to be able to hide having you because you're his child. She was like, I have Shayna. We have a child together. I have Shayna. But that's different because she's my child. You weren't my child.
Of course.
And she was like, I would have never been able to. She would have always been able to come back. So that's why I had to go. But I resented it so much for so many years growing up. I really did. I resented it because I just felt like I got so tired of bouncing around. I got so tired of being the redheaded stepchild or being pushed away. I was like, does anybody want me? You know what I mean? Like, I'm just I'm just the luggage. I'm just the suitcase, and I'm just being brought around house to house or whatever is convenient or whoever wants to take me for the moment.
Yeah.
And I think me and my dad and I, we lived together until I was 11.
Okay.
My mom was out of prison by this time, had another baby, and my great-grandmother passed away. So she ended up down in the city.
Okay.
So I got wind that she was down there, and I was like, I need to go with my mom.
You wanted to go?
I don't know why. I just felt like, I had to leave a circumstance for another circumstance. It was like picking the less of two evils.
Okay.
I love my dad. Like me and my dad, we've reconciled over the years with the situation that I've dealt with him. But with him, and it's like, I don't even know if I want to really say this, but I don't know. He probably won't ever see this. But with him dealing with drugs as well, like he wasn't on like crack or anything, but it was still drugs.
Yeah.
It was still alcohol.
Alcohol
it was
is
still
a drug.
depression that he was dealing with. He would take it out on me in so many words. It wasn't physical abuse.
Yeah.
But it was the abuse that made me as a woman, or as a young woman, trying to figure out, what am I supposed to do now?
Yeah.
Like growing up, being older, like hindsight, like looking back at it, I remember there was times where he would lay on top of me. Like it was never penetration.
Yeah.
But he would lay on top of me, and I don't know. And all of a sudden, like I'd feel wet on my thigh. Being older now, I know what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I never understood as a kid. And it was like, who do I choose?
Yeah, that's
where do
wild.
I go?
Because you didn't feel safe, even though you didn't know what was happening.
Yeah,
you just
like
didn't
I
feel
knew
safe.
that something wasn't right.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And I didn't know what to do. Do I give in? Do I just? I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. So, yeah. So I reached out to my mom. I didn't tell her what happened. I told her eventually, but I reached out to her. She came and my dad was like, you want to move with her? I'm going to tell you right now, once you leave, you cannot ever come back. And I was just like, okay. I was 11. I didn't know, so I left and I moved back with my mom. We went back upstate to Niagara Falls, and I put myself in a whole nother situation. You know, like I said, it was the choice of two evils.
So it was bad going up there too.
It was
just
bad.
A different
it was
kind.
just bad going to bad.
God,
you know.
When do you get to breathe?
I wasn't able to breathe as a child. I'm telling you, I never really ever got on camera and told this story. Like I actually started writing a book, which is taking me forever because I have ADD. But I can't get nothing done. But I've never really actually expressed this, so this is my first time really opening up completely and letting people know everything.
Yeah.
You know, to a certain extent.
Check on your babies.
Yeah, definitely.
No matter where they are, check on your babies.
We went from bad to bad. I went from bad to bad. I was with my mom. By this time, like I said, she has two kids. She was constantly working, but we didn't know she was still out there in the streets. She hid it so well, and she was always so irritable. And then she had another baby. It was me, my sister. Now the younger sister, right below me, Evelina. She wasn't with us. She stayed with my
of course,
the grandmother.
They're treating her okay over there.
You know what I mean? They you know, she was raised by her. But, you know, my mom ended up having other babies with her husband. And
why you never went back to your mom's parents?
Well, my grandfather passed away.
I thought it was the great grandmama that passed.
Well, no, he passed away when I was living with my stepfather's mom.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I just skipped over that part.
Okay.
But yeah, he ended up passing away. He and then my grandmother, it never.
It wasn't the same anymore.
Yeah, because she was sick. So
it would have been too much.
Yeah.
Understood.
So moving forward, we're back in Niagara Falls. By this time, I'm 11, 12 years old. And, you know, trying to get acclimated with school and figure out, you know, social life with school, and also being under this strict household. Now, we're still strict. We're still in church.
Yeah.
And all of this. But my mom was just so abusive. She was just like, and I say abusive because it's a difference between just being strict and abusive. Like, my mom, she used to, like, throw me down the stairs type of, you know, if I didn't clean up the bathroom the right way, or, you know, I'm 12 years old, so I'm just starting to get my menstrual cycle, and I don't know how to keep myself up as a young lady, or keep myself up with the napkins. And I remember one time I wrapped tissue around it, and I had just wrapped so much tissue. And
it clogged the toilet. And
well, you don't put sanitary napkins in the toilet.
Okay.
But we put them in the, you know, I put them in. I don't know what I did with it. Maybe I put it on the shelf by accident. I forgot to put it in the trash. And she said, "You put so much fucking toilet paper around this. I thought it was a goddamn roll." And
I was like, it ain't funny, but it is.
I got toe up for that, man. Like, bad.
That's crazy.
Like, my mom was the type of person, she would take dry rice, put it on the floor, and make you kneel for like an hour.
That's Asian tactics.
Yeah, well, my grandpa.
Yes, of course.
Asian, so yeah.
That's wild. So look, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a break so these people can grab some tissue because you're taking them down through there right now. But I promise you, every test leads to an amazing testimony.
Yes.
And yeah, hold that thought. What it do, family? This your boy Sid, aka King Dope, the king of all things dope. Hey, I just kind of let you know I just dropped another gem for you. Hey, what I need you to do is pick up your device, go to the nearest streaming app you have, wherever you listen to music. I'm letting you know I dropped an album to go along with the podcast. Yes, and to make it easy, I named it the same thing, A Vivid Mind. So, on wherever you like to find your music, look up A Vivid Mind, and it's by the artist known as King Dope. That it will be me. You can look up King Dope, KINGDOPE, or you can look up A Vivid Mind, and you will find my album. Check it out. Man, I got some tunes on there for every type of situation. And every type of situation I got some tunes for involve getting to the bag. So, you know, make sure you hit the comments on this video if you have checked it out and let the people know what you think. Okay, so Niagara Falls with your mom. How long are you there until you find freedom? Because you need some freedom. How did you encounter freedom in the pressing situation? Which one happens?
I became a runaway.
Huh?
I was a runaway. I would run away from my situation.
Where you was going?
I don't know. I would go to friends' houses, people that my mom wouldn't know that I'd know, and basically people that had parents that didn't care that I was there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and honestly, I never had a plan. I really didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was just leaving. But I think it was my cry for help.
Yeah, of course it is.
It was my cry for help.
What age was this?
By this time, I was probably 13.
So roughly about 2 years later, you running.
Yeah, I was running.
How long you run?
Probably the longest I ran was maybe 6 days.
Oh hell, that ain't long.
It's not long. I mean, and I wouldn't be nowhere but around the corner.
So she knew where you was to a
like
degree?
she didn't know where I was.
Oh,
like
okay.
I would never leave out the house.
How did you end up?
Like, it's a small city, so people would end up saying something like, "Oh, you know," and everybody knew my stepdad, everybody knew my mom, you know, Dix, and you know, over here at such and such house, you know, or something like that. So it was.
So whenever you got home, was it bad?
It was terrible, and it was like I put myself in that situation
because now you're embarrassing them.
Yeah. And it's to the point where, you know, now that my mom's like, well, we're going to put you on PINS, you know, which is person in need of supervision, which is like a probation for, you know, adolescents. So now I have to report to a probation officer. And now I'm being looked at as this fast young lady.
They thinking you're doing something you're not even doing.
And I promise you, as soon as I got in the house, the first thing they did, you put you in a tub, wash up, go in the room, stay naked. And my stepdad would come and he would open me.
Why he got to be the one to do it?
Well, it's a situation with that. So, you know, he would look and check to see my hymen, see if I was tampered with. And, you know, I dealt with that. He found it was a situation where he would protect me, in a sense, from my mom. Where he would allow me to, because everything was so strict. Like, by this time, like I said, I'm 13, 14. I'm coming home from school. You know, I can't do after school activities. Like, I tried, you know, I was running track. That was about the only thing that I was ever able to do was track. Okay. And I got through that by the skin of my teeth because I wasn't able to do anything because I had to come home, cook dinner. Prepare bottles for my siblings, put them to sleep, prepare the plate, be the wife basically to my stepfather. Yeah. My mom was never home. She was always working, you know? Yeah. So that turned into a situation where it progressed from plates to hugs, you know, to if you... panty hugs, that's what they were called, panty hugs. If you allowed me to have a panty hug, I'd let you go out. Yeah. You know, while your mom's at work, I'll let you go out. You can go ride your bike. Yeah. You know, and I'm like, that's freedom to me. Yeah. Okay. So I felt like I was in a catch-22. It was like, what do I do? I want freedom. I want to be able to go hang out with my girlfriends. I want to, you know, I don't want to be the girl that's always home doing wifely duties and taking care of my siblings. Like, I want to be able to experience my teenage years and stuff like that. So it was like an exchange. And I remember, like, that would happen so often. But most of the time it would happen, he would come to me when I was asleep. And it was like I would know that he's coming. So I would fake sleep. Like, because I knew that he was coming and he was going to, you know, and just rub on me or something. And I would just fake like I'm asleep or like play dead in a sense. And that was it. Like, I mean, that's the extent of what he did. But it was still
predatory.
Exactly. And it was to the point where I was so accustomed to it, I knew when he was coming. And I remember one time we had, like, all the girls were over, my cousins and stuff, and we were it was probably Easter around. We were all laying on the floor in the living room. And like I said, I knew when he was coming. And I was like, he's not coming. And then I opened my eyes, and he was doing it to one of my cousins.
Oh.
And I was like, shit. Closed my eyes, and later that day when me and we were fixing dinner, because we were like the same age, so we were in the kitchen. We were the young women in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So we're in the kitchen fixing dinner, and I asked her, I told her, I was like, does Uncle Dex come to you and do certain things, or was I tripping? Like, I don't know if I was dreaming. And she started crying, and she was like, yeah, he does. And I was like, he does the same thing to me. And it was like a commonality. We were able to
you got kinship. You went through something together.
But at one point I said, I'm going to say something. Eventually she's like, no, you can't. Nobody's going to believe us. He's Uncle Dex. Like, everybody loves Uncle Dex, and he's a minister. You know what I mean? He's in the city. He's an advocate for the youth and things like that. And it was just like...
Talking about tarnishing your gift.
So, I don't know. I know I ended up fast forwarding to when I actually did finally say something.
What age was that?
I was 16 at the time.
Okay, so about 2 years later.
15, 16 at the time. I had met my daughter's father at a high school basketball game, and I was sneaking, trying to talk to him and stuff like that. He was a guy out the suburbs and stuff, so I felt like I was winning being an inner city chick. Like, hey, I got a suburb. He looked like Usher, and he got his own car. He's still in high school and he has a car, stuff like that. So when we would hang out or whatever, I knew I had to be home for curfew. And we got into it, and he got me home late one time. Playing around. Think back when you were younger, and the girls, when they like you for real, what they gonna do? They gonna hit you.
Yeah.
And I hit him, and he didn't like that. He didn't like it at all. And he was like, oh, I'm not gonna hit you. He was like, what I am gonna do is I'm gonna take your ass home late. He was doing like 35 miles per hour on the interstate. I was like, I'm talking about, I'm sitting in the car like, I'm so sorry. Like, I was just playing with you. He ain't say nothing to me. He was just blasting his Pac.
But did he not realize, like...
He didn't know how bad it was.
Yeah.
But he knew that my parents were strict.
Yeah.
And he brought me, we had this system. He would drop me off at the corner. So I get out the car, and he pulls off, and I start scratching my face. Like, I'm desperate. So I'm scratching my face, I'm punching my face, I'm pulling, like, my hair, and I run in the house. Mom, I just got jumped.
Quit thinking.
I don't even know who it was. I just got jumped by some girls. Well, motherfucker, if you wasn't such a fucking hoe.
What?
Yeah.
That's what the answer is.
Yeah. She was like... You probably fucking some bitch's man, and you got your ass beat. And she was frying some fish, and she going off, and her words became more vulgar, and I'm just like, this is crazy. And she started hitting me. She's like, I'll beat you like a bitch in the street too.
What?
Yeah, and like I'm ducking like MMA fight, like like she was busting my ass. I don't know where my stepdad was at the time. He did a lot of sports, like he reffed games and stuff, so he'd probably be at the YMCA or something like that. I don't know where he was, but I know as soon as I caught a moment and she went back to tend to the fish, I grabbed my coat and I booked it. I left out the house, I jumped over the gate. I don't know where I was going, but I was going somewhere, and I was going to find a house to page my daughter's father to have him come get me. So that series of events led me to actually losing my virginity. Believe it or not, I finally, after all that time, they thought that I was out there.
But after you have been accused of something for so long, eventually
it was just like, I was like, and then it was 1999. So we were going into 2000, and anybody that knows 2000, Y2K.
Yeah, everybody thought the computers was going to crash. And the world was going to go dark.
The world was going to end. And I said, listen, I've had such a rough life. I said, I'm not. I need
you can't go as a virgin.
I said, I cannot. So I spent like 3 days at his house, at his parents' house.
Did they know what was going on?
They didn't know what was going on. His mom really wasn't, like, she was a great mom, but she just was to herself. Like, she gave him privacy that we never knew.
Yeah.
You know, so she didn't know that I was staying the night all those nights
Oh,
either.
she thought you was leaving.
She thought I was gone. You know, he come and go whenever he want, in a sense. So
at 16, 17?
Yeah, he was 16. Like, she just,
man,
it's the suburbs. It's a whole different atmosphere.
Yeah.
You know, white people, like, he was a black boy, but I call him a graham cracker. He was.
Oh, okay, understood.
You know,
that's why you said he kind of looked like us.
Yeah.
Well, I knew when you was at 7 o'clock on the down in the drugstore, cruising the streets. Ooh-wee.
Boy, I tell you. So anyways, because I'm going to see if I can try to wrap this up so we can get to the success part.
But I mean, it's pivotal into why you grind so hard.
Yes, definitely. I made a mistake by calling my homegirl, to let her know what happened. I'm like, I lost my virginity, you know? It's New Year's Day now, you know? I was gone from December 28th to New Year's Day when the police came knocking at his door, because I called, caller ID picked up, so they knew where I was at, the parents. So here come the sheriffs knocking on the door, because we're outside the city limits. So the sheriff's knocking on the door. I'm looking over and I'm like, and the mom's like, I don't know nothing about it. And I'm telling you, I was so good at booking it. Like, that's all I knew.
Yeah.
Man, I grabbed my stuff. I jumped out that second story window, did a tuck and roll onto the snow, and just went through the yard.
So you didn't get hurt or nothing?
Nah, I was limping a little bit.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, my adrenaline.
Yeah,
you know,
it's pumping. Like, you like, I got to go.
Like, I can't get caught.
Yeah.
I was like, and I just lost my virginity. Oh, I'm about to, it's going to be a whole nother story when I get to the house, because I was so accustomed to them checking me. So I was like, it's over with. They're going to check and see nothing, you know?
Which,
so,
let me clarify to everybody. Checking a woman's hymen is not a way.
It's not.
In order to tell if she's a virgin or not, because there are people who are not virgins and it remains intact. So that's not, and I can speak on it. I'm a medical professional. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. We're talking about 1999. You know, the information that we have these days, they weren't privy to it. They didn't know.
Of course.
They were going by what they thought. So, like I said, I'm booking it. I'm running through the neighbors' yards in the snow, and then I got caught. So now I'm in the back of the police car, and they taking me to the city limits so they could switch me out from the sheriff's to the city car. And the city car, you know, the cop looked. Niagara Falls is so small; it's like Pritchard. Everybody knew everybody.
Okay.
So the officer knew me, and he was like, "What are you doing, Nina?" Oh, like, you figure this out. He starts driving, and I'm just like, it was a long. It really wasn't long. It was quicker than I expected. Like, I got to the house quicker than I wanted to. But it was still long and, like, quiet. Like, I just cried in the back seat because I didn't know what to do next. And I was like, I have to say something. I have to let somebody know why I keep doing this, why I keep running away, I'm crying for help, but I'm not crying loud enough. I'm not being direct. I'm not because I was always afraid. I was so meek. I was definitely not Nina Rawz at all. I was not outspoken at all. And I was afraid nobody was ever going to believe me. So when we got to the house, it was like walking back into my jail cell. You know, I'm back in the kitchen, the same place where my mom was just fighting me at. Yeah. And, you know, my mom's like, mother, you know, going off, this, that, and third. And my stepfather's just looking in disappointment and disgust. And I said to the officer, I said, I don't want to be here. But I didn't want to elaborate. I said, I can't be here. And I just started crying. I was like, I can't. And he saw the fear, maybe, and whatever struck him, he saw it, and he ended up having some words with my stepdad, and they started arguing back and forth. And he was like, "Dex, I'm not fooling with you. She's coming with me. She's coming to a place for adolescents, for runaways, for adolescents, a center or a home or whatever, group home." And I left. And I told my mom. She came up there and she told. I finally went out and and expressed and said. She was like, "You came on. You were coming on to my husband." She didn't believe me. Nobody believed me. I had to go to court for it. I had a trial and testify. And when I brought up my cousin, she denied everything.
Of course. And it's because she was afraid.
She was afraid. And, the whole family basically disowned me. His side of the family, because that's all we were around, basically. Yeah. They all disowned me. And it was like I was already disowned in my own sense. I was always the redheaded stepchild. I was always the one, so it was easy for y'all to be like, yo, she's the outsider anyways. Like, she's coming in here, she's fast, she's wild, she's not a virgin anymore. Like, ain't no way Dex would have did that. And it followed me through high school. Like, I was in high school at the time. It followed me through high school. People were like...
So you in class and they talking about your business?
People were like, yeah, that's the one right there talking about Dex touched her. And it was bad. I had to seek counseling.
They loved him that much?
They did not believe it.
So he had the hood heart.
Yeah. It was bad, but then you had people that were like, nah, this is crazy. Like, I can't believe, why would he do that? And
so nobody just thought to ask you?
No.
They rather talk about you?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that human society? They like the mess.
And we still do it today, just on Facebook, on social media. But I dealt with that. Now, I was in that group home for a while, and I got transitioned to another foster home, and I stayed in a foster home. And, of course, I didn't make matters better for myself because I had a boyfriend, and they were looking like, she got a whole boyfriend, and she, this, that, and the third. And then my senior year, I got pregnant. So I never made it look good for myself.
I mean, but you were hurting. What was you supposed to do? You was hurting and you didn't know solutions.
Yeah.
You just literally figuring it out.
Yeah.
And the courage it took to wake up every day.
It was hard. There's been so many times I cried, and I would just ask God, like, why me? Why? Why me? Why am I going through this? Like, I don't have a relationship with my father. I don't have a relationship with my mother. I don't have a relationship with anybody. I'm here in this house with strangers, with a new foster sister every week, that I got to fight. I'm living in the projects now, what I mean? And I got to fight my way through everything. The only escape that I ever had was when my daughter's father would pick me up and take me out to the suburbs to his family, and I would experience that side of things. And his family was so supportive. His auntie actually even tried to adopt me.
They wouldn't let her?
They wouldn't let her because it was a conflict of interest because I was dating her nephew.
Oh.
So the state, me being a ward of the state, they wouldn't allow that to happen.
It looked like... something else was going on when actually that situation would have been safer than any other situation they would have put you in.
Yeah. But, I mean, his family helped me out a lot. Daddy bought me my first car. What? His dad bought, he didn't buy it.
But he put you in position to get it.
He was a hand-me-down car, and he gave me my first car, when I learned how to drive. And, but that's a whole nother can of worms with that. But it was still, that was my safe space.
How long were you guys together?
From 99 to about 2004, maybe.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And when I had my daughter in 2002.
So you graduate high school while y'all together?
Yeah, he graduated first because he was a year older than me. So he graduated first, and then I graduated in 2002.
Okay, and that's why the sheriff showed up. Because he was a year older than you, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just framing that up for people because it sounded a little wild. Why would the sheriff? We in Alabama, 16 is the age of consent. Well, it was. Ain't the age of consent now 19?
I thought it was 18 or 17. I think once you turn 17, like if you have sex with, I don't know, because we're in New York State too, so it's different.
Yeah, that's what I'm knowing.
So I know my mom was like, I'm gonna put him to jail for statutory rape.
Yeah,
and stuff
down
like
here
that.
you can get married at 15 with parental consent.
Yeah,
if they sign the right papers, you can get married.
That's crazy.
It is wild.
I'm gonna see myself married at 15 now.
I
mean, what was she when I was 15? I was like, oh, I can marry him.
Maybe. But you don't know what you're saying.
Exactly. Exactly. But I mean,
I can see the positive and the negative about getting married that young. I really can. I can see how it could be for your good, and I can see how it could be for your detriment. Yeah. And it really depends on the kind of person, because people who are meek, they're not really looking for that much of life. And it's not because they were indoctrinated to be that way. That's just their continence. You get what I'm saying? And they find them somebody who not going to do nothing to them, like who going to take care of them. Yeah. And they have a very nice spirit. I can see if they get together that young and, as long as it ain't no old, dirty, I'm a pick her.
Old, dirty bastard.
I can see how that could work. But at the same time, if you somebody, you love life, and that ain't going to work for you. Yeah. That ain't your type of thing. You got to be free for a little while. So you went until 2004. What's going on? Like
in between then?
Yeah, like, so not necessarily relationship wise. Like, so at this point, you're by the black standard an adult.
Yeah.
Because people who know how to efficiently raise your children know you shouldn't leave the home at this point. Mm-hmm. But we do. We push ours to the side. But we just didn't know any better. Mm-hmm. So what are you doing? Like, do you start working?
Yeah. Well, after I graduated, I started working.
What are you working at?
Well, I was, to be honest, I had to work when I was pregnant. Mm-hmm. Because I was in this group home.
Yeah.
After I graduated from high school, between that time frame and the time that I turned 18, they had to take me out of foster care and put me in a group home because like foster homes weren't going to keep me being pregnant, and I had to be somewhere until I turned legally of age at 18. So that whole time frame, I was working my ass off. I was at a Verizon Wireless, like how like Alorica had Verizon Wireless, the call center. Yeah, I was at a place similar to that. So that was my first thing. That was before we had, we still had the flip phones. Yeah, I think we had the Motorola Razr. That was like the hot thing at the time.
Of course, 2004, the Razr was popping.
Yeah, so I was there, and then I just got little odd jobs, working in collections. I've worked in a strip club.
What you do in the strip club?
I bartended.
Okay.
Yes, I did get on the pole from time to time. It was a real small hole in the wall.
Did you make any money?
I made a little bit of money. It was a biker club kind of thing. I was trying to feel my way in life. I didn't know what to do. I was just trying to find my way and do whatever I can. Okay. In a sense, from working in a pizzeria, working at a casino in the food industry, to flipping a brick and selling dope on a corner. Like, that's what we were doing.
All right. So at this point, we're going to take a slight pause, and then we're going to jump back into it. What I need you to do is, I need you to go to www.youngandculture.app. I repeat, www.youngandculture.app. And get you one today, man, because if you ain't got it, you left out. And one thing you don't want to be is left out. Just trust me, everybody's about to have this. I cannot ignore the fact that you said you flipped a brick.
Yeah.
Now, was it just somebody handed it to you, you drop it off, or did you take it and break it down?
I was taught to break it down.
Oh, Lord.
I mean, I had a by any means mentality.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had a child, and it was not easy providing.
Of
you know,
course.
because I never put it like this. I knew I never had nothing to fall back on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like now my daughter's father and we lived together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he had his little odd and end jobs. You know, but he was big on his music.
Was he good at it?
He was okay.
Okay.
You know, I'm not gonna knock it. But I was the hustler. That's what I knew, because I knew that if I failed, I didn't have anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So yeah, a friend of mine, I go ride around with him, and I saw him, you know, with his clients, and I was like, I need to learn this.
Mm-hmm.
He showed me how to do it. He showed me how to break it down, you know, how to cook it, break it down, form it into a rock, know what this costs, this weight, how much this is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you know, I was eager, and I was thinking I was just going to become a millionaire, you know, and I'm like, yo, I'm about to smash this. And it was a total opposite.
So you was taking L's?
I was definitely taking L's, because, you know, for one, I was shitting where I was sleeping. So, and I didn't know, you know, and I was, you know, so my house got broken into. Then one of the biggest L's I feel like I took personally, by this time, my mother and I were speaking again. Because once I had my daughter, I was pregnant, it was funny because we both were working at the same place. I get my hustle mentality from her.
Yeah.
Like, she's a hustler.
Yeah, because you said she'd be out there getting it done.
She a hustler.
And
She know how to get it done. So we were both working there at this one job when I was pregnant. We were both, and she saw me. We were in the same training class, and she was like, I was like, damn. Like, I haven't seen this lady in years, you know, and now I show up, I'm pregnant, and she's like, I'm gonna have a grandbaby, you know, and I'm like,
I know that was kind of bittersweet.
But I loved her still, you know. I've always had that soft heart, no matter what I've been through.
Mm-hmm.
I've always loved and forgave. Like my father, my stepfather, I talk to both of them to this day.
Wow.
You know, I was always a loving person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's all I ever wanted, was just to be
You
loved.
forgive them yet?
Yeah. Well,
you forgive everybody?
Yeah. Because that was the biggest thing for me.
Yeah.
That was the only way I was able to move forward in my life, was to be able to forgive, you know, and just to move forward. We just don't talk about it ever again, you know?
Yeah.
It's hard because I still think about it. Obviously, I'm talking about it now, you know, but it never took over me to the point where, you know, I just let it totally defeat me. Mm-hmm. Have I tried to kill myself? Have I tried to commit suicide? Have I done the things that young girls do, like scratching themselves? Yes. Yes, I've tried to overdose on pills. I've tried to slit my wrist. I've done these things because at that point, that's where I was weak, and I was allowing it to get the best of me.
So in that moment, being that you're the first person to really admit it, what I've always wanted to ask somebody was, did it help?
No.
Like, when you were doing any of it, none of it helped?
Nothing helped. It actually made things worse,
and
you know?
That's how I believe, you know, with this is, you know, a spiritual channel as well, because, you know, faith is ingrained into my business. Like, and that's how I know it's a trick of the enemy. Like, to literally convince you to take yourself out.
Yeah.
You know, because if those small inflictions of pain were to give you relief like you're looking for, it would literally work. But
and
instead,
it makes it worse.
Yeah,
it does.
He lies to you and tell you it's going.
Yeah,
you'll feel better if you, or it'll be better if you just not here.
Yeah, and there's been plenty of times I just wish I wasn't here. Like, I just want to be dead. Like, I don't want to be here anymore. And I was soaking in my misery, and I had to wake up. I had to, you know what? The church values, the Monday through Sunday, that was still in me.
It would kick in.
And I was like, I have to be stronger. And now I have a child, You know what I mean? So I have to, and a lot of my decisions weren't the best decisions, but I was doing what I felt I needed to do, what was necessary to survive and to live and, provide for my daughter, like flipping a brick. You know what I mean? Like, I did what I had to do. To the point where, like I said, with my mom, she was still out there. She was still doing drugs on and off, and she had this habit of leaving. Like, I went through it. She left me for weeks. So now she was doing it to my siblings. And I remember my stepfather used to run through the city looking for her, going to every trap house. He'd kick the door in and snatch the baby up. She'd be in there with the baby. What? And my youngest brother is the same age as my daughter. Yeah. So she'd be, in there high to the sky, zooted. And he'd be just sitting there dirty, whatever, So when my mom called me one day, and she was like, Sally sells, she sells from the seashore, kind of thing. For I heard word in the street is that you got that and I'm like, yeah, well, can you stop at the corner store and get me this, that, and the third, and let me get some from you.
That's a weird space to be in.
Yeah, and I'm like, but I had this because of everything that I've been through. It was like I was fighting the good and the bad. Yeah. The sweet, loving Nina,
the real you, versus the monster the
monster
created.
That has been created. And I was like, you know what? But I'm on my way.
Of course.
I was like, I can't. This money
in that position. In all honesty, I would have did the same thing.
Yeah, and then I was trying to find ways to reason with myself. I'm like, well, you know what?
She gonna get it from anywhere.
She gonna get it from anywhere else. It could be rat poison. It could be this. And you know what? She gonna leave my brothers and sisters in that house by themselves. Matter of fact, stay your ass right there. I'm on my way. You gonna stay here with these kids. Matter of fact, I'll go in the room and watch them. You know what I mean? You're not leaving my sisters and my brothers the way you did me. But you really need to get yourself together. But it was like so many types of rehab that we tried with her. It just didn't work.
Because she didn't want it.
She didn't want it. And I remember coming there and I served her and we was in the bathroom. She come in the bathroom with me. And I'm standing against the sink. And she's sitting on the toilet and she got her little makeshift pipe. And she looking at me and she's like, she was like, I was like, I'm going to hook you up. I had to put her in a frame of mind that she wasn't my mother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I, give it to her and she's lighting it up and stuff and she's just sitting on the toilet. And she was like, you want some? And I was just like so taken back by that. Like, I was like, damn. You know what's crazy? I've always wanted to bond with you, but I never thought we would be bonding like this. And I had to walk out. I said, I can't believe you offered me. You know the sickness. You know what you deal with. You know how this has dragged you down the way it has. And you are offering it to your child to put me in that same place. Like, I would never touch it.
That's wild.
And I left. And I kind of, I ain't fool with her after that. And
she spent all those years avoiding y'all, seeing her, you especially.
Yeah.
To the one day, she was just like, "You the only person I know got it. Let me."
Yeah. And then to offer me to hit it with her, it was just like, oh.
That's the wildest thing ever.
Yeah. And like I said, I walked out. I cried in the car because I was like, I can't believe I just did that. I can't believe that I served my mother, and then I can't believe that she actually offered me to hit it with her. Like, what kind of bonding do you think we doing? Nah, fam. Like, it's not happening like that. But that was just the hustle in me, and because I knew that at any given moment, if shit was to hit the fan, I don't have nobody to fall back on.
Yeah.
I don't have the relationship that I really had with my father. Like, it was always distant, and my mom's not stable enough to provide for anybody. You know what I mean? So just did what I had to do. I did what I had to do, whether it was, serving crack or shaking my titties in somebody's face with some shots. Like, that was the environment that I was exposed to. Mm-hmm. But I knew that wasn't my whole story. I knew that there was so much more to me. And like little by little, I was slowly starting to come out of my shell and starting to become the person who I am today. Like I said, I was always meek. I was always real shy. Mm-hmm. But like you said, it was a monster being created. Yeah. Based off the circumstances that I was dealing with from childhood on up to me being a young adult. Mm-hmm. So, my daughter's father and I, we split. And that was like the true test right there, because his family was like I said, my safe haven. Like it was like I had to, but in my head, I felt like if I'm breaking up with him, I'm breaking up with his family. Mm-hmm. Even if we have a daughter together, it was like, now we got to go our separate ways. And you can go back to the suburbs. You can go live with your mom or your dad or whoever. I'm sleeping out of my car. The 1992 Chevy Cavalier that his dad gave me, with no muffler, because it was loud as hell. And I ain't had no muffler. I used to drive a 92 Ford Explorer that my dad would let me use. And at the time, it had a hole in the muffler. Man, so when you turn it on, it sounded like you turned a motorcycle on. I'm telling you, I used to try to creep, and my homeboy's mom was like, I know you be over here because I could hear your car around the block. Yeah. That's facts. So did it actually go that way when y'all broke up? Did the family break up with you, or did they still accept you? Yes and no. Some of the family did. Mm-hmm. Some, a lot of the family did not care for me because they felt like I was the influence on him with my lifestyle, because I was already the chick from the hood. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like, they live out there in the suburbs. I was the inner city chick, and they're like, "This the ghetto." Like, she done got you in all this shit. Got the house robbed. Lost the Xbox, lost the cameras, lost everything. Stuff that we paid good money for, because she out here in the streets hustling. You snorting coke. And she done did all this to you, and it's like, but it wasn't just me. It was both of us. Okay. You know what I mean? So he participated on his own. Because there was a lot of things that I was introduced to because of him. Understood. You know what I mean? That white people lifestyle. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? The boys, they like to party, and they like to, they have a different way of partying. Yeah. I was introduced to that lifestyle. I didn't know nothing about it. You know what I mean? I didn't know what a 8-ball was, until I met him. That's actually what they say. So you want to party? Yeah, that's how it was. That's how you know drugs are involved. Yeah. So, that was a whole nother lifestyle that I was introduced to. So it wasn't just me, it was both of us collaboratively. Yeah. But they just needed somebody. But of course they had to, they were protective over their son. Yeah. So or their nephew or their family member, because some of the family members like, I ain't fucking with her. And then like I said, I was living out of a car. Mm-hmm. How long you do that? I did that for a while, for a few months, put it like that. About 6 to 8 months, back to back, either out the car or at a homegirl house. Where's your daughter at? At this time, my daughter is with him. Okay. And I made that decision because I didn't want her to have to deal with that. I didn't want her in the car. I didn't want her. I'm in a crack hotel, sleeping there and cleaning the rooms during the day so I could pay for my, my stay there and stuff. I didn't want her in that environment. And I said I knew that his family can provide everything that she needed, and eventually once I get my shit together for real, I can go ahead and do what I, and pick up where he left off. But that didn't happen. So, but I know you got a plan. Right now, at this point, you got a plan. Whether or not it worked out, what was the plan? I mean, my plan was honestly I was trying to go back to school. Okay. I went, I was in school at this time because I didn't get a chance to go to college. Okay. Being pregnant and stuff. So what school you enrolled in? I was at a community college. I was a communications major. Okay. And communications kind of just crept up on me because I only took communications because you didn't have to have a math or science prerequisite. So,
So you just chose what took the least amount of work.
Yeah. I mean, I was just trying to get somewhere, but I did enjoy communications. And that's kind of what molded me to who I am, the public speaking aspect of things and how I ended up becoming who I am now.
Wow.
I just didn't expect it to happen. I was just like, I need to get my degree. I need to do something so I can get a good job and get my daughter, and I had an apartment. But by that time, he wasn't letting me see her because he was upset with me because when he did need me, I fell through.
Of course.
But I wasn't able. I wasn't capable. And I think I was only I was 18 when I had her. I had just turned 18. So I was maybe 20, And this is not a 20-year-old that has the rooted background, you know what I mean? And strength. I'm like a 20-year-old out here blind as hell. I don't know what I'm doing.
You might as well be 16.
I'm just trying to figure. I don't know, But that it was just when he wouldn't let me have her. I didn't have a plan. I didn't know what to do. I was like, I can't have my daughter because I messed up being naive. Signed a piece of paper giving him 51%, me 49% custody, so he can go to income-based housing. Had I known about stuff like that, those resources, I would have been able to take care of my child.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't know anything about that. I didn't know how to get on food stamps or how to get, welfare assistance.
But because he had a tribe, he had people guiding him.
Yeah, and I didn't. I wish I did.
Yeah.
I signed over a notarized letter. Yeah, you could have 51% so you can get this apartment. Of course.
Hell,
but in my mind as well, I'm also thinking that we're gonna get back together.
Oh.
You know what I mean? In my mind, I'm doing whatever I can do to help, because I'm like, I'm gonna help you so we can.
Yeah, nah, he done. He just ain't said it.
Yeah.
But
so
he done.
He ended up getting that nice little condo. It was how the projects be. They be nice as hell and income based, and I'm still struggling, but that struggle made me stronger. And I would get a job here. I would be working 2 or 3 jobs. I was working at Radio Shack, going across the street and waitressing, and then I'd be working at a pizzeria, or I'd be a collection agent. Whatever I could do, I was doing, but eventually I just had to figure something out. But that was not the rest of my falls and my failures.
Wow.
So, I figured, okay, by this time, maybe I need to leave Niagara Falls. Like I said, Niagara Falls is as small as Pritchard. And I was like, I need to leave. Maybe I need to go to Buffalo. Buffalo's bigger. It's like Birmingham. You know what I mean? So I was like, maybe
but it's still the hood.
I need to leave, and I need to figure something out. There's more opportunities in Buffalo. I could probably get a better paying job, and this, that, and the third. And I get out there, and I fall victim for some more bullshit because all I know is the streets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know how to work, but I know the streets are always calling me. A hustle's always calling me, and sometimes those hustles were the wrong hustles. So now here I am writing bad checks. Here I am, doing some crazy stuff with some dude, that was my boyfriend at the time. I'm talking about we writing bad checks, like $20,000 bad checks, like getting crackheads to open up bank accounts. Come open up this bank account at Citibank.
So y'all doing
real quick
Fed fraud.
Get the bank, and we'll chop you out.
Yeah.
We know the check ain't gonna clear, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna get that first 500 out the ATM and then see if we can get another one. But we were like flipping them, because one time you do it, it's over with. So now we gotta have like multiple people.
Yeah. So you gonna run it until you can.
We getting multiple people in and out, in and out, in and out, and then at the same time, that lifestyle was getting to me, because now we got some money and we buying the wrong shit. We buying cars, PlayStations to go inside the car.
I only seen that on TV one time.
Come on.
I thought that was so dope. I was like, how did they get the PS2 plugged up back there?
Boy, I tell you, I'm such an idiot. But, you know, just that lifestyle was Jordans. Like, I'm talking about, I had all the Jordans in the world. I had a whole second bedroom in my apartment just for Jordans.
Well, back then, it was $100.
Yeah, they was pretty cheap. You know. And then I got little feet, so mine was about 60.
Yeah, you're winning.
So,
give me 2 per.
Man, but yeah, we got caught up. We definitely got caught up. He did some time. I did a little time, and I have right before my like arraignment and all that other stuff, I had ran into somebody at the radio station because I had won something on the radio. This is how it all started with radio. I won something on the radio, and I went down there to pick it up. And I ran into the promotions director. Okay. And he was like, "Oh, we need fresh faces, you know, for our street team. And you went to school?" And I was like, "Yeah, for communications, you know, trying to upsell myself." And he's like, "Yeah, we can get you in here and da-da-da-da." So I'm in there. Meanwhile, I got this felony case on my back. I'm not telling nobody about, you know what I mean? I still got to go to trial, not to trial, but to court and all this other stuff. So I eventually had told him and stuff, and he was like, "Well, you know what we can do?" He's like, "Follow me." And we go down. We was on the 14th floor. So we go down across the square, and he takes me to the recruiting station, to the military. And he was like, "You are going to sign up for the military. They're going to forget about everything."
Oh, really?
So I'm like, what am I doing? They not gonna forget about it. Everything. I still gotta go to court. Yeah. You know, old boy serving 6 years right now. You know, and I'm looking at 7 to 10. Yeah. So, meanwhile, all the stuff that I was doing, I was really just trying to get on my feet, but I got carried away. You know what I mean? So I could get my daughter. But by this time, I kind of gave up on it a little bit because I had to. I was paying child support and stuff, and for my daughter, and I kind of gave up. I felt like I wasn't gonna be able to win. Like I tried to get her, I wasn't able to, and it was like, all right, well, she's so with him.
Just let him have her.
You know, yeah, she's with him. You know, and eventually I'm gonna get on my feet, and I'm gonna get her back. You know what I mean? That was just my whole motivation.
So my question is, do you sign the paper at the military?
I did.
So you did?
I did.
All right, hold on. We're going to have to take a quick break because the military leads to her being on the radio station. I know those two things ain't got nothing to do with each other. But this man from the radio station sent her to sign these papers. We got to talk about this. Take a break. What it do, family? This your boy Sid, a.k.a. King Dope, the king of all things dope. Hey, I just kind of let you know I just dropped another gem for you. Hey, what I need you to do is pick up your device, go to the nearest streaming app you have, wherever you listen to music. I'm letting you know I dropped an album to go along with the podcast. Yes, and to make it easy, I named it the same thing, A Vivid Mind. So, on wherever you like to find your music, look up A Vivid Mind, and it's by the artist known as King Dope, that it will be me. You can look up King Dope, KINGDOPE, or you can look up A Vivid Mind, and you will find my album. Check it out. Man, I got some tunes on there for every type of situation. And every type of situation I got some tunes for involve getting to the bag. So, you know, make sure you hit the comments on this video if you have checked it out and let the people know what you think. This man from the radio station, for whatever reason, trusts you enough to rock with you and walk you
into the Army recruiting station. Well, you know, they were there. All of them were there side by side. He was a Marine. So he wanted me to be a Marine, but he was like, there ain't no way you're going to cut out to be no damn Marine. So we going to skip past the Marines. You got the Air Force or you got the Army. Because I don't fuck with the Navy. You know, that's kind of like how the conversation went.
But it makes sense, though. You know, it makes sense why they like that. Because the Marines turned into SEALs and, yeah. But, all right, so you decide on the Army.
Yeah. I mean, basically, the Army was about the only one that's going to take me.
Interesting.
Because I had to let them know kind of what was going on.
Yeah, you do.
You know, and then the recruiters, they so low down, they gonna find a way to get you in,
of course,
and cover the stuff up
because they want that check.
Yeah. So I prepared for that, and in the meanwhile, like, and this was in like 2006, give or take.
So Rich Boy is just popping.
About 2005. 2005 actually. And in the meanwhile, I'm still at the radio station.
Okay.
You know, learning and being exposed to those elements. I'm also at a strip club in Buffalo. So I'm working at the Geek Squad, customer service. At night, I'm working at the strip club. I wasn't a stripper. I was a shot girl.
Okay.
Working at the strip club, and then I'm also working during the day at the radio station, like interning and stuff.
All while waiting to go to basic?
All while waiting to process, because they had to figure how they were going to get me in.
Oh,
you know what
okay,
I mean?
okay.
Meanwhile, I still got this case.
Yeah.
You know? So they brought me to MEPS and stuff like that, and I processed in, and they were like, okay, we're going to have you leave on this date. And I was like, I can't leave on this date. This is the court date, actually. It's like, bro, like, man, we got to figure this out. It's like, you got to go. So I ended up, I'm trying to figure out, I don't remember if it was like twice that I did this. Like I had to go to MEPS, and then something about the hotel and just like end up leaving or saying that I couldn't do it. I don't remember. But I know the second time around, I couldn't, because that was the arraignment, or that was like, you know, and like I said, mind you, we're keeping this all a secret, you know. So I had to leave and run away. Yeah, that's what it was. I had to run from the hotel. The hotel was downtown, and so was the courthouse. So I had to leave and escape from the hotel that I was processing in, and go run to my court appearance.
So there you go, running again. It
came in handy. I'm always booking it. And I get to court, and I had this public defender, and I had already told the public defender of my idea. I wanted to do the Coast Guard. Was it the Coast Guard? The National Guard. The National Guard. I want to do the National Guard because I could have stayed in state. And he was like, there's no way that's going to work. And so I went over his head. He didn't even know that I had all this planned with the military.
Okay.
And so I pull up, and I run up. And I get in front of the judge, and, you know, they're trying to make it seem like, you know, the bells and whistles, like, oh, she didn't do this, and this is her first offense, and she was influenced, and all this other stuff. And I was like, Your Honor, I am currently processing to serve for our country. I'm joining the United States Army, and like, I even had my position and everything. I was like, I'm an 89 Bravo ammunition specialist, and I'm gonna be set to go to Fort Jackson today. You know, like, that's how it was. Like, I had to, but it was, to me, it couldn't work any better.
Yeah, because it's right on time.
It was like, she was like, you're scheduled to leave today. I was like, yes, and I actually just left there
to come
here, but I'm scheduled to leave. But I never left that day because it was too late. You know what I mean? So she was like, you're scheduled to serve 7 to 10 years. Woo! Because you have a Class E felony and 2 misdemeanors. So, it was a Class C at the time. She was like, we're going to go ahead and how do you plead to an E felony? I think she wiped the misdemeanor. So it was just an E felony. 3 years restitution, pay back what you owe, which on my account was like maybe like $300. You know what I mean? Everything pretty much fell on old boy. So it was like, pay back what you owe, and 3 years restitution, be good.
Wow, you got to slap on her.
3 years good. 3 years, I'm sorry, 3 years good behavior.
Yeah.
Restitution, you know, be good. Do what you need to do in the military and serve our country. Thank you, ma'am. I didn't think nothing of it, you know. I'm like, I don't care. I felt like I was scot-free.
Yeah.
But I still had a felony following
on your record.
You know what I mean? But hey, I was out.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually I did go back to the military. And a lot of that stuff caught up to me, though. A lot of it caught up to me. So
while in the military.
Yeah, when on my way through, they found out about the stuff, and then coming back, when I left to go back out, and I was supposed to report to my station, I found out I was pregnant. So I'm like, what am I gonna do? I was like, I promised myself I wasn't gonna have any kids after my daughter, because I couldn't even have her. So, I did what we're not able to do now. I went and I terminated my pregnancy so I can be able to go back into the military. It took me a while. I had to jump through some hoops to get it done and raise the money and stuff. So I was out for a few weeks. So at this point now I'm AWOL and a deserter because I couldn't go back. And my recruiter, was like, yo, get on that bus, go to the airport. When you get to the airport, break away from your group and meet me down at the far end and I'll pick you up. I'm listening to him, because I'm taking his word. I'm like, okay. So we left, and I did what I had to do. A few weeks go by. Actually, a couple months went by. And then by this time, now I'm not even allowed to go back. Yeah. Because I'm listed as AWOL deserter, and I'm like, bro, I got to get this taken care of. And I ended up having to go to Fort Knox to process out.
What the?
I was there for a minute too. They had me held hostage. And I'm talking about they had us in that. By that time, we were transitioning out of the BDUs, which were the old school uniforms, to the ACUs, the more digital, the gray print. So everybody who was in the military had the ACUs on. But if you were a deserter or AWOL, you had the old school BDUs on, so you could stand out, and they ripped your name off, so you couldn't even keep your name on.
So you still get locked up?
Still get locked up.
But yeah, dog.
Still get locked up. And it's like, what am I going to do?
How many times you going to ask yourself that question?
Right? That should be the name of the book. What am I going to do? So, anyways, fast forward. Now I'm out the military, and I'm back in Buffalo. And I'm just trying to get it how I live, but a better way. You know what I mean? I still had my connections with radio, and I felt like, honestly, that was probably my best bet because I had this felony. Because any other job that I was trying to get, I couldn't get. I'd have it for like 2 weeks. Background check come back.
You over it.
Gotta go. So I was never able to maintain. And it was like radio was the only thing that saved me. And I just went head first in with everything, learned how to work the boards, learn production, got on air. I was on air overnights in Buffalo for a good little while, but I didn't love it, and I didn't know what I was doing either. I was pretty much just thrown in. And eventually I moved down south because at that point, my daughter and her father left and they moved to Orlando. And it was like, I got to get closer to her because I was seeing her when I was in New York, but I wasn't seeing her as much as I wanted to, It's like, I gotta move down south. My cousin wants me to move down south to Mobile, Alabama.
The way you said it.
That's how I felt. Yeah. I remember my cousin was like, come on, cuz, come on down to Alabama. I'm like, I'm picturing Andy Griffith's show. I'm picturing everything in black and white. I'm like, y'all still ride horses down there?
Mobile with Mulberry.
Man. I couldn't get with it, but I was like, I was desperate. I needed a change. And it was to the point where, how I spoke about suicide before, I had tried again. I had tried to take my life again because I was like, I can't do this. I can't, I don't know, I'm not doing things right, and I don't have nobody to help me, and I'm behind in child support, my license suspended, I was like, I can't see my daughter, can I just start over? I took pills, and like I said, it never works. I mean, it might work for some people, and you might be gone, but that's not what I mean by it never works.
It never works because you still had purpose.
You're hurting yourself.
The pain still doesn't go away.
It doesn't go away. Matter of fact, I spent a week in the infirmary, strapped up, in a box, being evaluated, and I did all that because I was financially messed up and I was overwhelmed, and I just did my whole history of my life. I did all that because I wanted to escape, and guess what? When I walked out the hospital, I had a $4,000 bill. So I was even more messed up. You know what I mean? I put myself in a worse situation. And it was like, I'm not going to pay it. I still ain't paid it. But still, But the moral of that is, the fact that you're trying to escape from something and all you're doing is making matters worse. You have to.
That's
you
not
really
the
have
solution.
to figure something out and develop a strategy.
Yeah.
And honestly, I feel like Mobile saved my life. That's why I'm still here to this day. I moved down here in 2009. August 13th, 2009.
You had just got here by the time I met you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
I caught a Greyhound. I sold everything in my apartment. And whatever money I had, I bought a one-way ticket. I said, can I get a one-way ticket to Mobile, Alabama? And I had an option, Mobile or Lawton, Oklahoma, because there was a guy that I grew up with, and we were kicking it. And me being, me, I was like, we could get married and all this other stuff. He wanted me to move to Lawton with him. And I was literally sitting in the Greyhound station like, I'm at a fork in the road. What am I going to do? Where am I going to go? I don't know anybody but my cousin in Mobile. I only know this dude, Dwight, in Lawton. I was like, I don't know. And he wanted to marry me, too, because he was the first and only person that ever asked. And he asked my stepfather. He asked my stepfather for,
so it was a real offer.
He just didn't have a ring. But he, and I love him still to this day. That's my dog. Like, we still talk. He talks to me about his marriage and things like that. But that's besides the point. So now we're at this fork in the road. And I chose Mobile. Because I just knew, like, even though I wanted to get married, like, he was into the church world and stuff. And I just knew that wasn't me. I wasn't ready.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready.
It was going to be too heavy-handed.
That I was escaping most of my life. I was like, I don't know what's in Mobile, but my cousin, she wants me there, and I've always been wanting to be closer to my family. It's like, all right, here I come. One-way ticket, please, non-refundable. Set that out for 2 weeks in advance. I have no choice. And I got on the bus with my book bag, a duffel bag, and a betta fighting fish in a ragu jar with $20 in my pocket. I probably had like 60, but by the time I got to Mobile, I had 20, and I had to eat.
Hungry.
So I get to Mobile, and I have nothing. My cousin, she takes me in, and the first night we get off the Greyhound, 33-hour ride, by the way, on that bus. The first night I get off the Greyhound, she takes me to Club Miami.
Oh, Lord.
She was like, I got to take you here because there's this guy, he works for the radio station, and you said you have some type of demo or something. I was like, yeah. I was like, I got it on my BlackBerry, We're going back, it's 2009. I got it on my BlackBerry.
The one with the middle scroll or the side scroll?
I don't even remember, hell. Shit. I think it was the middle scroll, actually, yeah, because it was a BlackBerry Curve.
Yeah.
So, and I pull up to Miami, and, there's a young chick from New York. I got that hustle mentality, and I'm real gutter. So I'm like, I pull up, and she's like, that's him right there. His name's KJ. Like, what up, fam? What's good? He's like, hey, girl, just him being KJ. It's like, listen, I heard that you work for the radio station, and I actually just left 93.7 WBLK in Buffalo, New York, and I'm looking for a position. I was like, I have my air check right here. And I pulled it up, and he was more blowed at the fact that I actually came into the DJ booth and gave him my air check on my BlackBerry. He's
but see, knowing Mobile like you do now, stuff like that wows them.
Yeah. He was like, I cannot believe that you did. But, he paved the way for me to be able to get to BLX, being able to be on the Playhouse Paparazzi Report, talking about, it's your girl Nina Rawz, and that was your Playhouse Paparazzi Report, talking about all the juicy gossip. I learned so much more in Mobile than I ever did in New York. You know, and they say New York's like, you know, the place where you grow and your dreams come true and things. But New York, to me, I would never go back because like I was constantly running and fighting. And I was never taught the way I was supposed to be taught, you know, no matter what situation it was, whether it was life to, you know, finances, radio. Like I learned everything here. And that's one reason why I haven't left Mobile. You know, everything that I've done in Mobile or that I've learned was here. So we here 2009. I'm on the radio.
And how long? How many years you spent on the radio?
From 2000, well, I starting in New York in 2005 to...
So 4 years there, you get here.
2009, I left BLX in 2016.
So, wow.
And then I went to 107.3 The Beat in 2019. And I stayed there for a year. But it's changed so much. Radio has changed so much. It's not the way it used to be. You know, I mean, it's still great. And it's great that I was able to use my voice, you know, the way I did. And I there was a lot of learning that I had to do and a lot of growing, you know. But it's made me to the person that I am now. Like, I was able to open up and be who I am. Like, I was, like I said, I was always meek. I was always shy. Like, don't nobody want to see me.
Why the name Nina Rawz?
My friend actually named me Nina Rawz. My first radio name was Nina 9. Nina 9. There's a lady on Sirius XM. Her name's Nina 9 as well. But my homegirl, she used to always call me Nina Rawz. She's like, that's Nina Rawz. Nina Rose, Nina Rawz. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go with that. Yeah. It just stuck. But it was just because Nina 9, the Nina, my name, and then 9 with the 9mm, and it was just my lifestyle. Who I was at the time, it was just, I was just gutter. Yeah. You know, so it was like, that's what I knew, and that was just what described me the best. And then we just converted to Nina Rawz because it's the same thing, basically.
So, a conversation with you and paying attention. We was in the studio. I don't know if you remember this day. We're in the studio. I'm trying to be an artist so bad. And when I get there to work on my session, you're doing a drop. You're doing a commercial drop. And you're using Cool Edit Pro. And I'm like, y'all supposed to have something more fancy than this. Yeah. But you're on Cool Edit Pro. And matter of fact, the actual program we're using in the studio is way more proficient than what we actually hear you record on.
Using Pro Tools, I think.
Nuendo.
Yes. I was gonna say
we was using Nuendo.
It was something with a start with the N.
Yep, it was Nuendo because it's the most people don't know that's the movie form of Cubase. So whenever they do large picture films, if you're used to the Cubase system by Steinberg, they created Nuendo. So, and I was like, why? What did I asked you? Oh, I was like, why are you doing this here? Like, and you was like, because I got to do this drop right quick to make sure it's ready for tomorrow because I'm about to go to the club so I can get paid off of doing a
remote.
A remote. That's exactly what you said. And I was like, oh, y'all get paid to show up to the club? And he was like, yeah, that's actually how we get good money. They only pay us minimum wage at the radio station. Yeah. When I tell you that, like, blew my mind. Yeah. It was like, y'all only get paid minimum wage?
Yeah, that's why I had to learn to think before I speak, you know, with the Inetta situation, because I was doing all that stuff. Yeah. And I was making $7.25 an hour, you know?
That's wild. Why would anybody even sign up for that if they knew that?
Because it's like you love it. You know, when you start falling in love with it, you'll do whatever you can to stay into it, and then with the hope to grow and to move up. That was always my hope. You know, I was like, oh, man, I know I'm talented. And I know that I can do more than just talk. I know that I know production, and I can kill a commercial. So let my work and my talent speak for itself. They have to see me. Yeah. KJ saw me. Yeah. You know what I mean? Somebody has to see me. But instead of them seeing me, they just used me.
Of course.
Well, matter of fact, let's go ahead and we'll just give you a few more hours. You know, we'll put you up to full time. You can get a free membership at the YMCA with us. Yeah.
That ain't even no benefit.
Exactly. But
ain't nobody
that was
you
me
no health insurance.
Wanting to
go see the
loving
dentist.
what loving
we
what I
you
did.
YMCA.
Right? I was up in that thing too though. But that was just me loving what I did, you know, until I didn't love it anymore, until I became bitter.
So, before we get to the bitter, let's get to the better first. Who all you met as a result of working for the radio
It's
station?
been so many people. I can't even go down the list. I definitely met a lot of people and was able to network with a lot of good people.
So, I mean, so some notable people we would know. If you said
Trey Songz.
Okay.
Al Green.
Wow.
R. Kelly.
R. Kelly came here?
R. Kelly came here. I got a picture with him, too. Ooh, He made such a funny face. But, oh man, so many people. Anthony Hamilton, T.I., Nelly, Avant, the Mindless Behavior, those little boys.
Yeah.
Remember when they came to the studio? The list goes on. Like,
Yeah, so that means that you
people.
knew the OMG girls at the same time.
Yeah, like I've met so many people, and I had the opportunity to be able to interview some of those people, which was great. I was always scared to do like celebrities because I was like, hey, I'm gonna mess it up, But me doing the underground helped me, own my skills with holding an interview. Now, as far as me being the interviewee, you see how long this damn interview took, right? Like I don't know how to get to the point.
It's a long format platform, so it's wonderful. That you even was able to be expressive that way.
Yeah.
I just wanted people to not only hear what won't necessarily work out in their favor about the job, but what is a perk. And whenever you met these people who we consider large in stature, you found out they were regular people.
Oh yeah, they was definitely regular. I mean, I got into it with 2 Chainz real bad. Like I met him and we was actually Twitter beefing.
When he was 2 Chainz or Titty?
No, when he was 2 Chainz. I don't know. Titty Boy probably came out in that Twitter.
Yeah.
But it was just like, yeah, he was definitely 2 Chainz. And he came down here and I didn't like how he was acting towards some of the people. And, and I said something about it and I tweeted it. And then we was going back and forth. And, but I had to check him because, like, you are just a regular person. Like, yeah, you got more money than me. But at the same time, like, you bleed just like I do. You
got to be careful how you treat people.
You know what I mean? I don't necessarily feel like meeting celebrities was the biggest perk. To be honest, like it was great. It was a high. You know what I mean? Being able to chase them sometimes, or I'm at a concert and it's like, okay, I gotta find a way to get backstage, because they acting funny about media passes, So I had to finesse my way.
But this the only hip hop station.
Hey, listen, it was the only hip hop station, but we didn't have a lot. But we always made it work. Always made it work. Hell, they didn't even have enough money to pay us. You get what I'm saying? So
that sounds like somebody ain't doing nothing right.
But
man,
it is what it is. It was a learning experience. I met a lot of great, phenomenal people in the city.
So do you still have that network now?
I still have a little bit of the network. Like honestly, when it became bitter, I pulled away. I pulled away so much where I washed my hands of everything. I didn't want to have nothing to do with any music. I stopped listening to music. I stopped going out. I stopped dealing with promoters. I just really put myself in a whole shell because like I withdrew. Put it like that. I just withdrew like a mug. But it is what it is. One of the best perks that I would say is being able to meet the people that I have met in the city.
Yeah.
I've always had a big thing for underground music, even when I first moved here, because there was this show right before my show in New York called, dang, I can't remember the name of the daggone show, but I just felt like I can use that and take it here. And that was one of the things when we started doing the Put On in the Park at Chickasaw Park.
Yep.
That was before I actually was on air with my own show. I was still at the station, but I didn't have my own show at the time. So my way of bringing back to the community and trying to develop something was we had that open mic at the park.
Yep.
You know, and trying to create a platform and hoping that it would blow up.
And we got some Grammy Award winning people who was there.
We do.
Yeah, now they have Grammys now. It ain't because you like know their name, but they've done some phenomenal stuff in the background.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I was looking at one of the videos. You know, I don't have many of them. Your cousin had most of them. I don't have any of that stuff no more. But I ran across a couple like on Facebook and stuff, and I was like, this is crazy. Like, we was really just like throwing down in that park. Like, everybody would come around. And and it's hard to even remember who's who, you know, because it was with so many artists. And at one point I became so overwhelmed with artists when I started the Underground show on air. I was so overwhelmed with artists. I don't know who was who coming and going.
Wow.
And to this day, I still can't tell you because it was just so many.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you have certain artists that still stick
I remember
out.
whoever came all the time. Those are the people I remember for sure. You know, I remember Matastic. I remember Two Face because they was in a group with, you know, Fed Time and Sugar. I remember, I can't remember his name. They was hood as a mug too. Those folks coming up and down.
Was there one called CMG or something like that, or some? You know, I don't know.
It was
they
something like that. Like,
there was some hood cats up in there too, but I loved it. Like, I just
that's
loved
how we
the
met,
energy.
Roman Empire and they whole clique,
the
and
whole
that's how I
Roman
met.
Empire clique.
You know, White Boosie, aka Trouble. You
know. What have you
Corbin.
been up to? See, I don't remember. I don't know where any of those people
Yeah,
are
Corbin's
now.
doing real good now. I have to show you his Facebook. But yeah, man, we met a lot of people. TMP, Seaweed, all of them.
Man, so many people.
It was crazy. So you transition from radio and being done with the industry, and what you do next? And how do you get to where you are today?
I was working at Austell.
Okay.
I was a welder and a HVAC tech. But I was actually working at Austell while I was working at the station. I think that was kind of what actually did me in. Like,
because Austell is a hard job.
I was just overworked. I was working Monday through Friday at Austell, and then I was working on the weekends at the station. You was working 8s,
10s, or 12s?
10s.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't study radio.
I was working 4 10s. Matter of fact, it was Monday through Thursday, sorry. So I was working 4 10s.
Yeah.
And then I was working Friday, Saturday, Sunday at the station. And it was like events all the time and stuff. And I was just overworked. I was stretched out. And the fact that I was doing this at Austell, I didn't want to do this. But this is what I had to do to make a living. It's like, I want to work in radio. I want to do production. I want to do this, that, and the third. And y'all messing with me. You know what I mean? So I ended up, when I left, I ended up getting hurt at Austell, so I left Austell as well. So now I'm jobless. I forgot what I did, actually. But I ended up going to Ingalls eventually. Okay. And I took the break from radio for a couple years, and I worked at Ingalls as a painter and as a sandblaster. That was one of the hardest jobs ever. I thought Austell was hard. Being a painter is one of the hardest jobs. Like, it's right next to ship fitting. That's crazy. They say a ship fitter and a painter are the worst jobs. I'm talking about, I used to come out like soot, just looking like blackface. Like, I mean, I had like paint and all types of stuff up my nose. We'd be strapped up 50, 100 feet up in the air, painting things, or inside the crevices of vents, you know, trying not to get high off the thinner because we have to wipe everything down, surface prep, and then, you know, paint. It was crazy, you know, but it was my hustle. And I always tried to do whatever I had to do. I don't care how hard it was, because I could never go back to where I was before, you know, and I don't want to ever repeat those same mistakes that I've made, you know. So that's one of the main things with me.
Okay. What I need you to do is, I need you to go to www.youngandculture.app. I repeat, www.youngandculture.app. And get you one today, man, because if you ain't got it, you left out. And one thing you don't want to be is left out. Because trust me, everybody's about to have this. So, how long you stay at these shipyards, and how do you get out of that?
I stayed altogether, collaboratively, I think I was at the shipyard for about 6 years. And I got out, both of them were off of injuries. You know, I'm little. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that I was doing that I shouldn't have been doing.
So you walked away from both of those jobs without a check?
Oh, no, I got a check with
Ingalls.
I
was finna say.
I got a check with Ingalls, yeah.
Okay.
I got a check with Ingalls. Actually, when I left Ingalls, I had a concussion, and I was fighting them, whatever. But then I found out I was pregnant with my son. And that was my first time being pregnant since 2004. Wow. And I honestly always felt like because I had that termination that it messed me up. I've never got pregnant since. You know what I mean? There was something, you know, but he was my miracle baby. I wasn't expecting him, but he came and, you know, in full force and terror. And he's here now. He's 3. Yeah. I learned a lot with that situation and I felt like that was my opportunity to be able to relive redo. That was my second chance. You know, that was my second chance because I didn't get a chance to do that with my daughter. You know, I fought for her. Even them times when I came up in life and I actually was doing decent financially, I tried to fight. I petitioned in court for her, and you know they didn't want me to have her, and it was because they didn't want to take her out of her environment. Yeah, you know, she knew her father.
She's accustomed with what's going on, so it'll be a dramatic shift.
So, you know, I kind of just let time do its thing with that. Her father was sick; he had cancer, and you know, and I'm not saying it in a negative way, but I was just waiting for that time to come where I would be able to see my daughter and step in, because there was a lot of back and forth between him and I as far as me being able to see her and, you know, him hiding her cell phone, stuff like that. But when he passed away, I was able to finally have more of a better relationship with her. You know, she's going to be 20 this year. And you know, she's
crazy.
She's
got a 20-year-old.
She's a strong woman. She's strong. You know, I mean, some of her decisions, I wish she would make better decisions. But I feel like it's because
I was going to say that's a little difficult for you to say.
You know, but I'm saying that because I've been through it. You know what I mean? And now I understand why some parents feel like they be so hard on their kids because they know what they gonna do. It. They know, like, yo, like this ain't
that
my
ain't
first.
For you. You might not need to go that way.
Yeah, trust me, fam. But you know, she can't tell her anything at this point. You know, she's at that age. You know, but she's still strong. She's beautiful, and she's a hustler as well. You know what I mean? Just in a different state. You know, she likes to cook, and that's all she does.
That's what's up.
She
works cooking rocks.
She's not cooking rocks,
but it gets you high though. That chicken the bomb.
Yeah, she's cooking food. She's not cooking rocks. That's you know. That's so, dope. But yeah, I mean, everything that I've been through has shaped me, molded me to the person, the woman that I am today. I've grown so much. I've learned so much. Now it's like, now that I'm out of radio, I try to use my voice still just on a different platform. You know, I work in mental health. I first started out as a peer specialist working with the mentally disabled as a peer, motivating them through recovery, through my recovery, because I have a story. I've dealt with mental illness. I've dealt with suicide. I've dealt with depression. I've dealt with anxiety. And I was able to overcome. So here, let me help you and show you how I've done it, or at least guide you and give you some ideas on what you could do. And then I transitioned into fitness with mental health, because fitness helps with mental health as well. You know, we have a fall prevention program that we implement to help gain mobility. And we actually implement it with the seniors as well. So I've been really big on that. I've been big on fitness. I am the Director of Communications and the Executive Officer of a wonderful nonprofit organization called Adapt Focus. A dear friend of mine, DeQuell Robinson, he's the founder. And what we strive to do is empower those who deal with ambulatory disabilities, physical disabilities. He is paraplegic, and he has to deal with that every day in life, having to be in a wheelchair. And only he knows what he has to deal with mentally. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That what comes with that. So with that being said, we want to encourage those with physical disabilities and create an inclusive society for them to let them know that, you know, you can still be involved. And we do that through sports, fitness, and recreation. Okay. As well as offering mentorship for those who may face sudden physical disabilities. Okay. You know, now what do you do? You know, like I was walking yesterday.
And now I'm not.
And now I'm not. What do I do?
Yeah.
You know?
That's a wild feeling.
So that's where we're here with our nonprofit organization. So my whole life has changed so much. Yeah. With that long drawn out story from me as a child and all the mistakes that I've made is groomed me to be the woman that I am now. So I can be able to tell my story. And that was one reason why I said I've never expressed this. I've never said any of this on camera. And obviously you could tell because I was all over the place, you know, but I needed to because somebody else might be going through it.
I agree.
You know, and somebody else may need to hear this and may need to, like, you know what, I'm not alone.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the same thing when you deal with mental health. That's the same thing when you deal with ambulatory disabilities. Yeah. You're not alone.
And
we're
it's really
here to help.
It's a 3-strand cord, really, whenever you talk about the human body. The human body is mind, body, and spirit. But it's weird how even the devil has put his hand in that statement when really the setup is spirit, mind, body. Because if you don't have a strong enough spirit, you can't shake yourself mentally of certain things that are going on. And then you can't motivate the body to move. You get what I'm saying? So that's why sometimes you can be bound. Yeah. You know, and the devil knows that if he can bind you, then you're powerless. Yeah. Because truthfully, he has no power over you. He just can influence your decisions. You never once said he came to take your life. You always said different moments where he convinced you where it wasn't worth living anymore. And I just want people to see that. And if you're going through mental things, I've heard it very plainly explained. If you're going through depression, it's because you have a problem with your past. If you're going through anxiety, that's because you have a fear of the future. But the best thing to notice about life is to be present. Yeah. Those who are present are aware of how precious that gift really is, to be here right now. Right now, at this moment. And smile. Yep. That's for real. It is for real, and I'm here for it. I'm here right now, and that's how my mentality has been. I'm here in this moment. Yeah. I'm gonna live in this moment, and I'm gonna enjoy this moment right now. Well, I'm gonna tell you once again in front of all these people that's watching this, whether you see this in the past, in the future, or somewhere in the middle where you should be. This is a legend. Even the small span of what she did here in the greater scheme of her whole life, it still made a splash on the city. Well, I appreciate that. It made an impact on me. And your voice rings across a lot of childhoods. Don't make me cry. Now, I've been doing good. I wasn't trying to cry this hard and went through 35 years, 37 years of talking. Don't do it. I'm just saying. I just want you to know, like I tell everybody, the whole purpose of this platform is everybody's a superstar. Amen. You just haven't discovered it yet. But you are. You're a star. Thank you. Keep shining. Thank you. This has been a Vivid Mind podcast. I'm your host, the king of all things dope, King Dope, a.k.a. Sid. And I just want to bid you a live humble and prosper. I've been through a lot. And only one thing ever really sticks to me.
No matter what I go through, it always affects me. When I hustle up or don't have a dime, I'ma go mine. Good times and the bad times, they heavy on my mind. Tapered up or I'm starched down. Either way is mine. I feel fine, but everything around affect my vivid mind.